What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I want to give you guys a little market update as we've gotten a move up on Bitcoin yesterday after the FOMC meeting, and we have come up into some pretty key levels of resistance, and now we are starting to see a little bit of a rejection to the downside. So I want to take a look at this key level of resistance. Why were we looking at this level on my live stream at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and why were we able to get such a strong reaction to the downside? And on top of that, guys, I want to talk about a key level of support below us that, if we are able to hold, could open up the door for much higher prices for Bitcoin. And I want to go over those price targets with you guys in this video. And then at the end of the video, guys, I want to take a look at two altcoins that we've been looking at for potential moves up, and these coins could be on their way to even higher prices. So I want to talk about those higher price targets, and spoiler alert, it's going to be Solana and Algorand. But guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and check out these saucy levels for Bitcoin, and then check out those next price targets for these altcoins, which are mostly going crazy. Let's get into it. So guys, here we are on the Bitcoin chart. Now, as you guys know, we've been looking at this big old range from the top of the bull market here. And as soon as we were able to break above this, we were looking for this to flip to support in order to open up the door to a very key level of resistance. That key level of resistance is right here, and it is the point of control of this entire macro range. And it is coming in at about $34,904. And this is an important level, guys, because first off, not only was this a key level of resistance for us, but if we're able to flip this level to support, we may be able to open the door to much higher prices for Bitcoin eventually, and potentially even as high as this value area high sitting up here at about 48.8K. Now, we are likely not going to get a straight shot up into this level, and we have some more local levels of resistance above us that are a little bit closer. I'll go over those in a minute, but I just want to talk about why it's important that we're flipping this level. Because it's the point of control of the range, if we're able to continuously hold this as support, it does open up the door to potentially get up to some higher prices at around 48.8, like I just said, or even closer to about 39 to 40, because like I said, we do have some more local levels that actually come from this local range right here. So when we're zoomed out from a longer term perspective, guys, I am still bullish on Bitcoin, as we are potentially going to flip this POC to support. And with that being said, not only was this a key level of resistance, but it is now a key level of support, because if we get back below this POC, it could open up the door to come closer down towards the value area low of the range. But as of right now, this is simply a level that I am looking at. If we hold above it, I'm bullish. If we hold below it, we may be able to look down to lower prices. But as of right now, we cracked that level, and we could be flipping it to support, which is pretty bullish in my opinion. But you might say to yourself, but Frankie, how are you bullish? We're dumping right now. Well, we'll take a look at that right now. Jumping on down to the lower time frames, guys, we are looking at this local range, or we were looking at this local range, anticipating a potential move to the upside or a potential move to the downside. We were simply just waiting to hit higher prices or lower prices, and we had a plan in either direction. And obviously we did get that break to the upside, which we talked about was likely because this is a bullish continuation pattern. But we did get that move up, and we did come into this key level, and we actually swung fail this wick from up here closer to about $35,751. And you can see we wicked above this level, closed the candle below, and then we got a reversal. And this was one of the things that we were looking for a potential reversal to the downside. And on top of that, guys, you will know on my live stream, we were looking at this very, very, very key level of resistance, and it is sitting right here at about $36,000. Why were we looking at this level, and how were we able to reject from it so perfectly? This level was what you call a naked point of control, which I won't really get into today. Maybe I'll make a Sunday sauce video about it. Now, these naked points of control are simply points of control that have not been touched yet. But again, that's for another day. I can explain those or make a tutorial video on how you can find these on your chart. But nonetheless, we did have this naked point of control up here at about 35,995, almost 36K even. And this is not only why I was bullish on Bitcoin, looking for higher prices, waiting for this NPOC to get hit, but I also knew it was a key level of resistance and a good place to be looking for some short positions. And speaking of short positions, guys, this is a setup that we put in the premium Discord. You can see it right here, looking for that potential move into our weekly naked point of control, looking for some very specific specific confirmations I won't get into right now, but we did give this as a short setup in the premium Discord. Shout out to the kitchen and anybody who was able to get in on that trade. But unfortunately, guys, I actually did not get filled on that trade. So I actually missed my entry there, but I will simply wait for a retracement, any potential re-entry, or I will simply wait for lower prices and look for a long opportunity. But shout out to the Mafia in the premium Discord. Hopefully you guys were able to take advantage of that information. But obviously, guys, this is starting to play out. And again, not only did we come up to the weekly naked point of control, but we had many, many other confirmations letting us know that we would likely reverse from this level. If you want to really take your trading seriously, you could check out the link to the Discord in the description below. But as you guys can see, we are getting a little bit of a move down. And obviously, this has a lot to do with the fact that we hit that MPOC. And we also put in some nasty bearish divergences with higher highs on our price and lower highs on our momentum waves. And not only that, guys, but our money flow was also coming to the downside. And when you see these divergences into key levels and you have the confirmation of money flow coming out, not only on the 4-hour, but also confluence with what is going on the lower time frames. You can see the 15-minute had a bearish divergence right here, and money flow was also coming out. And this is a pretty strong signal that you are likely to get a move to the downside. And these are just some of the things that we were looking at to take this trade. But guys, obviously you're probably watching this video trying to figure out where Bitcoin is going to go next. And let's go ahead and get into the key levels of local support. Now, I am actually going to pull up the local levels here that we've been looking at for quite some time on the channel. And you can see here, guys, we have our local range. We deviated from the high. And what do we always talk about on the channel? When you deviate from the highs, this is where you want to look for your short opportunities to potentially target the value area high of that previous range. And if you get below that range, you could look to fill the entire thing back down to the value area low. But I just want to break that down, right? You came simply, this is your area of balance. You came out of your area of balance. This is where you want to be looking for short positions. If you could find your confirmations, which we just went over a couple of them, you can find your short position, ride it back down to your value area high, and then potentially look for it to come back into your range. So right now, guys, a key level of support, in my opinion, let me go ahead and get rid of these levels. A key level of support, in my opinion, is going to be this value area high coming in at about 34,895. And if we pull our local Fibonacci retracement, you can see we also have our golden pocket in pretty close confluence with this level coming in right here. So this is going to be a very key level of support I'm looking at for a potential bounce. You can see we wicked down and actually tapped that 786 retracement, which is also in close confluence with the POC. So again, really the key level here is the value area high, because not only is this going to be a level where you could be looking for a bounce, but obviously, just like we do in all the other volume profiles, if you wind up getting stuck below this level, you would be looking to come back down to that POC and then eventually the value area low. So this is why that is a key level, not just the key level, but why it is key and what I'll be looking for as price interacts with this level. So that's kind of the key level of support. And then obviously, if you broke back into the range, your next key level would be the value area low and the golden pocket 786 below, which we look at on the live stream like every day. So I won't go over that. But this is what we're looking at, guys. Other than that, taking a look at our higher time frames, you could see we are starting to put these bearish divergences that we talked about on the live stream on the higher time frames, right? Walked into that MPOC with the higher highs on our price and the lower highs on our momentum waves, and we are now printing a bearish divergence on the 12-hour. And on top of that, guys, we've been looking at the daily being pretty overbought, which has come down just a little bit, and actually VWAP is coming up again. But we were looking at these higher time frame bearish divergences for a signal to potentially look for a move to the downside. And now you guys have the key levels that we could look for bounces on the way down. And other than that, guys, money flow still coming out on the 4-hour. Again, if we see, if we wind up seeing this crossover into the red, probably going to be a little bit more of a move down. But remember, when you're looking at your macro levels, you have your local levels and your macro levels. Those are the local levels of support and resistance, but don't forget the more macro levels, guys. These are likely going to be a bit more important, being your macro POC at about 34.4. And you guys know, price likes to just kind of stick to these POCs like a magnet. So don't be surprised if we come down here and start hanging around the POC. But now you guys have all the key levels of support to be looking at. And if we were to get a big bounce to the upside, upside, I just want to talk about that next price target for Bitcoin, and that is going to be the same level we look at every day on the live stream, and it is this purple box that starts off at about 37,551. This is the value area low of our previous range from back here, like I said, and then we also have a monthly naked point of control sitting at about 39K, and I want you guys to remember, if we get a move up and you start approaching this naked monthly point of control, remember what happened at this weekly point of control. We got a big rejection, so this makes for a very good price target as well as a strong level of resistance to look for some potential scalp shorts on the way back down. So there you go, guys. There's the key levels on Bitcoin. Now I want to jump over to the altcoins, which is probably what everybody's waiting for, and I want to take a look at Solana. Now, as you guys know, we've been looking at Solana for quite some time, looking for some potential price targets, and again, just like Bitcoin, we were able to use the volume profiles to predict our move to the upside. We knew once we cracked this previous value area low, which you can see, we wound up actually getting some resistance here as we wound up hitting our head, and then once you break above it and flip it to support, you look to go to the POC, which we went right to at about $33.23, and then once you're able to break that POC, you're looking for a move up to your value area high at about $41.41, and where are we sitting at right now? $41.21. So guys, this is the power of the volume profiles, and I want to talk about this, right? So what can we expect from Solana in the future? Well, obviously, we are at a key level of resistance. If we lose this value area high, we can look for a move back down towards that POC. And you also want to be taking a look at some of your local golden pocket retracements. We have a local golden pocket here at about 37.31 and a 786 down here at 34.67 before the POC. So there are levels in between, but obviously you are going to be using this value area high as your compass to figure out what price is going to do next. If you can't get back above this level, you're looking for a move down to these levels, right? Potentially targeting or eventually targeting the POC and potentially even the value area low. These could potentially be just areas where you cool off. And honestly, if we came down to the 786 or even the POC here, I would still look for a higher low and a potential continuation to the upside. Now, if we continue to the upside, where can we see Solana go? Well, the levels that I'm looking at right now, and we looked at these last night as well, is going to be number one right here at $49, basically $50, right? And I want to really press this home, guys. This $50 level is not necessarily the strongest level of resistance, right? These are just intermediary levels or kind of just in-between levels before our next big target, because as you can see, we had a big move down right here, just like we had a big move up right here. So we have a pretty massive gap in volume here, guys. So once we break $50, there really isn't much in the way of us getting a very quick move back up to this previous value area from about February of 2022. And again, because of this volume gap, you could wind up seeing price move very quickly through this area. But again, at $50 and about $66, there are some high volume nodes that may give you a little bit of turbulence. But other than that, in the grand scheme of things, remember, fast move up typically results in a fast move down when you re-enter that area. So if we're able to crack above this $50 level, guys, we could be looking towards a potential $80 Solana sooner than later. But obviously, we do have those intermediate levels in between that you got to watch. But again, those volume gaps oftentimes play out. So that is Solana, guys. We could talk about that more on the live stream tonight, but also I want to go ahead and take a look at Algorand. Now, if you guys remember, we were looking at Algorand on Friday night's live stream, and I was talking about how I was going to probably pick up some algo on spot because it was actually looking pretty bullish at the value area low of the range. I believe this was Friday right here. Where is it? Let's go to the daily chart. I believe Friday we were right at that value area low. Yeah, Friday the 27th, right at this value area low. Now, why was I bullish on Algorand at this time, guys? Simply put, I was looking for price to break up, come back down, flip the value area low to support, and I knew if we were able to bounce off that level as support, we were likely going to go to the POC. This is why I was saying I was going to pick up algo on spot over the weekend, and we did wind up getting that move to the POC. And now we are flipping this POC to support, potentially holding it, and if we are able to continue holding this POC, guys, as long as we remain above the price of 11 cents, we could see Algorand get another push to the upside towards the value area high, closer to about 12.5 cents. Now, I know that's not that moonshot target that everybody wants to hear, but we got to take this step by step. And with the money flow crossover into the green on Market Cypher B, and this is a fresh money flow crossover, this would indicate that the trend is likely to continue up. So as long as we hold that POC, I will be looking up towards 12.5 cents, maybe even 13 for Algorand. And with all that being said, guys, I think that's all the time I got for today's market update. I just kind of wanted to give you guys those price predictions and kind of what I'm expecting to come from price in the next few days or weeks. But again, remember, we just had a pretty big move up on Bitcoin, and we just hit that naked point of control, so we may be able to see this continued pullback with those divergences on the higher time frames. But remember, guys, nothing is guaranteed. You got to keep your eye on the charts, as anything can happen. The real secret is having your key level set and knowing what to look for when price approaches your trap. And with all that being said, guys, that's all the time I got for today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Maybe I'll take down my Halloween decorations next time. That's all I got. Breaking candles out.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like.